Hello everyone. Rita here after a super long impromptu hiatus of the podcast. I don't know if I have mentioned this before, but I didn't really know exactly where I wanted to go or if I even wanted to continue with this podcast. On top of that, there's been just a lot of reflection in my travel business in general, in my second business, which is a marketing business. And it was this past summer, these past couple months have been a huge period of reflection for me to kind of figure things out. Not only that, but it was heavy medically. If you have been following me for some time, especially on Instagram, you are very aware that I have an autoimmune disease and just lots of challenges in that aspect. But not only that, this past summer, so at the end of July, I had to undergo uterine fibroid removal, ovarian cyst removal. Thank God all the pathology and everything came out really great for that. And then at the heels of that, I also had a mammogram and found out that something suspicious came up and I needed to have a breast biopsy, which very thankfully I'm happy to report did end up coming out benign, and it is a benign lymph node. So heavy stuff. And it's not because I haven't wanted to show up. I just didn't know what authentically or how authentically I could show up here. And I didn't want to force myself to show up and give information, especially with just so many things weighing heavy on me. It's funny because there's been a lot of really great announcements that have happened in travel. Like so many countries and so many businesses, like the cruise lines, are heavily relaxing their COVID requirements. So if you didn't know, cruise ships now, if you're vaccinated, you do not have to get tested. If you're a U.S. resident, you do not have to get tested prior to boarding. If you are not vaccinated, you are now allowed back on cruise ships. Woohoo! But you do have to get tested a couple days prior in order for them to allow you on board. So just so much progress in that arena has been happening. Not only that, but especially this past week or so many people interested in either planning retreats or just planning travel. And this can be travel for next year, 2023. This can be travel in the next couple of months. So just some really amazing things that are happening and on the horizon. I'm going to be plugging an episode that I was recently on, Trade Show University. If you are an avid podcast listener, which I hope you are since you're following me here, I was on Jim Cermak's podcast recently. It actually came out Monday, September 26th. And if you have been wondering about like all the ins and outs of planning a retreat, a trade show, an event, a group trip on board a cruise ship, I dive in real deep as to like what costs are included, what costs you need to account for, what can a sample agenda look like, why it's important to make sure, or how can your people connect while they are sailing with you on board this cruise ship, and why it's also important for them to get independent time alone. So all of that, make sure that you listen in on that, because I feel like that's a really great way to kind of like kick off getting back into the podcasting space as well. But I do have 4 episodes that are coming to you. Please let me know if there are any questions, like burning questions about cruising right now or planning something on a cruise ship that you have been burning and desiring to know. Please let me know, because I would love to address those on an episode of the podcast to give you a little bit of clarity. I've been getting a lot of the question of like, how does exactly this work? How can I do it? And so I think that episode that I have coming out on Trade Show U is going to be super helpful. But if you have any specific questions, I'd be more than happy to get into those as well. So, and with that, like, retreat planning season is in full effect now. I have a corporate retreat that's going to be sailing this November. There's another small business retreat that is going to be happening in April, and then also planning a different small business retreat that is happening next November. So lots of things up in the air. And I do want to also kind of note to you a little bit that I am finding, because like everybody's wanting to plan something, it has been very slow to get answers from certain of my cruise line partners. So please just be a little bit patient with all of that going on in the background, that it is taking me a little bit longer to get answers. And what I'm finding is that because everything that happened with COVID, a lot of these teams that handled these logistics, the positions got eliminated and they haven't really hired them fully back on. But a lot of these companies are now scrambling because many of you are wanting to put these events and retreats together, and they don't have the bandwidth to take care of everybody, including myself, who helps support you, so you don't have to deal with these types of logistics. So just a little bit behind the scenes of what's going on and what I'm kind of encountering in terms of taking a little bit longer than it normally is to get some answers of either availability on ships, pricing on the ships, or even what types of meeting space is available for the different sailings that I have clients interested in going on. So that is a hopefully very quick update from me to you. We are in the midst of Hispanic Heritage Month, and I so wanted to do something to honor this month again, but again, like, just life has been cuckoo. So if anything, please go ahead and support a fellow Hispanic business owner through, well, always, but especially during Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs through October 15th. And then also, if you're somebody who has been putting off getting your annual mammogram done, please, 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 especially at the heels of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, go get that done, because awareness is the first step in order to have prevention, but also be able to treat anything head on and as soon as possible if that were the case, if needed. Alrighty. Whew. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I hope you had an amazing summer. Funny enough, we're getting ready here in Florida to deal with a hurricane. So hopefully I can get all these podcasts just scheduled out so we don't have to deal with another hiatus anytime soon. But that's it for me. We will conclude now. Thanks for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.